problems again?
Hey, you guys know that there's no better place to talk about the greatest in combat sports than Knockout Radio, baby. Let's go.
All right.
All right. I tried to start it with Mike Perry since we're going to be talking about Jake Paul a lot today. You know when I found out that I got credentialed? Yesterday.
You got credentialed yesterday.
Yeah, for the fight that I think is Friday.
Okay. So that gives you how long?
Well, I'm not going because I already had plans to come to Atlanta. I'm broadcasting live from Staff Zone.
Woo!
Global headquarters of Staff Zone, so I'm hanging out here. Let's start with one of my pet peeves.
What is it, Randy?
Another one of my pet peeves. Okay. Obviously tragic, the news that we heard regarding Rob Reiner.
Yeah, Meathead.
Meathead. We all of my generation watched All My Children.
And even my generation. You're a
not
boomer,
All My
right?
Children. What was it called? What was the show called?
All in the Family.
All in the Family.
Say All My Children.
I said All My Children. Yeah, because Meathead was a child. But you know what really bothered me, and it still bothers me, is the post that says Rob Reiner dead at 89 or 78. Rob Reiner dead at 78. No, Rob Reiner was murdered at 78.
Yes, but you don't. Come on. I mean, you don't put headlines at that because you don't know all the details yet. And yes, obviously he was stabbed.
Well, it's alleged. It's alleged too.
No. It's not alleged that he was murdered.
Well,
he was murdered. It's alleged that his son did it.
Well, initially, actually, I mean, look, just as a journalist, I'm gonna throw some things out there.
Here's more professionalism.
Because you would think, because words are very important, right?
Yep.
So if you say, murdered, you never know. Maybe you could find out later that somebody, I'm not saying this happened with him, but some people may stab themselves or do it, like it could be a suicide or something. You just don't know all of the information. So nothing is incorrect about saying dead at 78 or however old he was. That is correct. And as a journalist, as a credible journalist, you want to make sure that is correct. Then as details come out, you can update it. You can say he was he's allegedly murdered, or he was murdered. The suspect, at this point they're pointing towards his son, things like that. But you gotta be careful with your words, Randy.
I agree. Rob Reiner murdered at 78.
Well, he was murdered.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But not the initial headline. Not the initial one. The first one that comes out. Ed, can you back me on this?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the headlines are correct that he is, he's dead. Period. Whether he was murdered or not, he is dead. But
no, he's definitely dead. But when you see that or you read it dead, you think died in natural causes. There wasn't hanky panky. This was hanky panky. He didn't die. He was murdered.
This is why you don't just read the headline, folks. You then start to read the beginning, even if it's just the first 4 or 5 sentences, because that's what I did. And I was like, they're like, he was stabbed. They think it's foul play. Then next article comes out. It looks like they're pointing to his son, got in an argument, at some party with somebody, Conan O'Brien's party. Then more and more is coming out. But headlines, you can't do that because you've got ragamuffin magazines out there that are just putting in catch me headlines that kind of are questionable at best.
See, I'm going to take what you said and go the other way. You said read 3, 4, whatever, and I say don't read anything at all.
No.
If you don't get started, then you can't be misquoted and you can't, any of that other stuff. So,
well,
right. But who else did pass away yesterday? And I'll catch flack for this one.
Yeah.
Luke Spencer.
Yep.
From General Hospital.
It was a crushing blow.
Anthony Gary passed away yesterday.
Yep.
As of Luke and Laura?
Yeah, yes. Luke and Laura. And the stupidity of people. People still hated him because of the rape with Laura. Right? It was a TV show. That was
right.
his character.
Yeah.
You're totally right. You know what's crazy about Luke and Laura? He wasn't even that attractive, but I guess I was a teenager when Luke and Laura, a preteen, but it was so big that look at us, all of us now, even guys like soap operas. We all know about Luke and Laura.
It was a great story.
Yeah.
That led up to it, led after it, and I still remember getting off the school bus fast enough to get home to see it.
Yeah.
On the fringe.
Totally. I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, the guys were into soaps with Luke and Laura. I mean, it was good
I mean,
stuff.
we didn't admit it. We didn't admit it,
Well,
but we were
I'll tell,
there.
I'll tell you who did admit it. The sailors on the USS Barry, because I'd always said that the absolute best time to take out our ship was between 1 and 3, General Hospital, All My Children. We're all in there watching the TV. We're not worried about what's going on in the world. It's our soaps. It's our stories. Isn't that what the older people called it back then? The stories.
Oh
So
no, is that what you guys called it? We call
No,
it.
I think that's what is that's politically correct today. It's stories. In the old days, we just called it soaps. Nobody argued with it. Yeah, you watching soap? Yeah, I watched soap yesterday. Yeah.
Soap opera is
right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we said soap operas, but my parents, the in-laws' parents, all that kind of stuff. It was the stories. My great-grandmother, the stories. I can't talk to you right now. I can't make your lunch. I can't make your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. My stories are on.
Well, listen, I quickly, all my girlfriends and so forth were into that, but I got to tell you, mine was John Stamos and Rick Springfield. Okay, they were on soap operas along with Meg Ryan. They were all on these soaps at the same time, but do you know where it was?
When
General
it was? Yeah, it was General Hospital.
Who else was on General? Demi Moore.
Demi Moore, yeah, that's right. And so General Hospital was where it
Yeah.
was at, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no,
I
just hospitals in general is where it's at. Just say.
Right, because there's so much drama. But Rick Springfield was such a babe, and this was before he launched his career as a singer. This was before Jesse's Girl and all that came out.
Or Randy's Girl. That was the original title to it.
Randy's Girl?
It was original. The original title was Randy's Girl.
Randy's Girl. Jesse's Girl just flows a little bit better. Randy's not bad. That's interesting. Did he tell you that? Where'd you learn that? Because I know you've had some run-ins with Rick.
No, I have done a few things with Rick, but it's also, I think, on Google. I saw it as well.
Interesting.
Not
I'll
that
be able to
Dr.
write this
Google
on
could
down.
ever be, wrong. But all right, so a lot of things that we are going to talk about. Mike Stracco will be on after the first break in about 8-9 minutes. I'm going to let you pick where we start. Leslie, do we start football? Do we start some wrestling news that I got to get off my chest, as do a lot of WWE fans? Do we want to talk some UFC stuff right out of the blocks and another who is the GOAT? And I actually did, because you harassed me about knowing who's coming on the show to be prepared. So I decided to be prepared on this one thing I want to talk about UFC. Well,
yeah, and you didn't because I'm old school. I like to know, I like to know in advance. I like to do a lot of research, but Randy is it's just a different way of approaching it.
Well, I think it's a better conversation. You may be more prepared to be prepared, but it's a better conversation that just flows because we're just having a talk. We're just chatting. I don't know. And then if you throw out, and that's what the celebrities and athletes do, but go ahead, pick which do you want to do.
It's a mix, but it's nice to at least know something, okay, before you get on. But I will say this. I know what I'd like to start with, okay? I would like, because we're talking about old school, we're talking about soaps, talking about Gen X, and we got Ed in here with it. Okay, let's start with Mr. Old School.
Philip Rivers. I knew you were going there. Genius. He is a genius. Do you know why?
Tell me.
Ed, do you know why? You probably do. Why Philip Rivers is a genius?
Oh.
Well, he's coming back to make more money, for one thing.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. Are you talking about the Hall of Fame, maybe?
Well, no, because this now puts him, you can't be 5 years after you retire. So now his clock is going to start again.
Restart.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that might be genius because now he can increase his stats even further because he was a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame, and now he won't even be eligible until 2031. So I'm just saying he can.
Philip Rivers pulled off one of the biggest coups ever.
What?
Philip Rivers has how many children?
10.
Okay. Do you know that when a football player, within status, I don't know what the years are or whatever, but Philip Rivers definitely falls into this. When you retire, you are insured. Your insurance is effective for 5 years.
No kidding.
And then it goes away. Just like when my wife retired, it was effective for X amount and then it goes away. That 5 years is now going to restart when he retires again.
That is brilliant.
So he's going to get 5 years of insurance again because he was an active player.
Yeah, but he's going to be even more beat up.
Yeah, but at least he'll be covered.
Good point, Ed. He's going to need it.
And don't even get me started on insurance in the NFL, because I have the belief that if you played 1 year in the NFL, 50% of your medical should be covered for the rest of your life, and then it goes up from there. 2 years, 75, and after 3 years, it should be for the rest of your life. Period. They've got enough money. It's ridiculous.
Which obviously we know that's not how it plays out.
I know, but when you brought up insurance, it's just like,
yeah,
but that is true that he's going back out there and he's going to, just when he was starting to heal up, now he's going to beat himself up again.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure 10 kids have kept him pretty busy, but I mean, and the kids, the age range is stretched so far for those kids. I was reading that one of the kids has never even been able to see him play when he was on the Chargers, just because their age range stretches.
Maybe he came back to get a break from the kids.
Who
knows?
Who knows? You guys, how many brothers and sisters do you guys have? Ed?
I had one sister.
Okay. Randy, man?
2 and 1.
So you have 3 siblings. So you're a family of 4?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm a family of...
Even Army people can do the math.
You gotta shut up. All right. So I'm I'm 5. Okay. I'm the youngest. I have 4 older brothers. I'm the only girl. And I have to tell you, I just think, I'm going to say this, and everybody's to each his own, and they seem like a wonderful couple. They've been together a long time, but I just think that having 10 kids is selfish.
For who?
For who?
It's selfish.
For who?
Because you're not allowed to give those kids the attention that they need. You're just having them have you can't. Now, I mean, they have nannies and stuff like people. I think you should cap it off. This is me personally, right? At 5, I know he has plenty of money, so he can take care of them, but those kids are not going to get the kind of attention that they really want from their father and their mother. It's impossible. What happens is the older kids many times can become, like parents to the younger kids when you have 10 children. I mean, the Waltons is out of hand.
Well, I think 10 kids is out of control if you're on welfare. But if you've got millions of dollars in the bank, you can hire people to help string you along. You don't have to do everything yourself.
You're right. But that's
makes it a little bit easier.
You got to hire people there.
And plus, Dad doesn't have to go to work anymore. Well, he does right now, but eventually he won't have to go to work anymore.
Well, that's irrelevant. They may want to work. I'm sure that Philip Rivers does other things, just like Brady. He doesn't have to work. He hasn't had to work in forever, but they work anyway. But it's about the attention, guys. They're not going to get the kind of close attention and stuff that I think children really need from their parents when you've got 10. Even if you help out with nannies, you're right. And I agree. It's easier and better if you have a lot of money. But still, I think it's irresponsible.
A, I disagree. But B, does it really matter if you had 1 or 10? Because while you're playing, you're very rarely at home. And the NFL now, it's year long, where before it was the 4 or 5 months. Then you have the training camp. He's at the practice field every day anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 10. Let him have 10. If I was number 9 of his 10, I would be ecstatic, because if he didn't have me, I wouldn't be here.
When he came back, his first press conference before he even played, I don't think I've ever heard a quarterback being asked this question. But he was asked, "What are you weighing right now?" I mean, was it that obvious?
He did look big. I mean, he definitely did look big. So, all right. Well, you bring up football. You brought up Philip Rivers first. I don't even know if I want to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, let me add this about Philip. We've talked about his age and everything. I'm going to say this. I love the fact that he's back. I'm rooting for him 100%. But the coach has come out and said he's not here to save the season. And he knows that. And so we're just, making sure, but it looks like he's going to start. They're kind of thinking he was on the bubble. I think this is a huge mistake. And here's why. Phillip Rivers is not going to be able, I don't think, to take the kind of hits for being out for 5 years. That's the difference. And also, the Indianapolis Colts have a season to save, you guys. They are still very much in the wild card spot. I mean, very, very much in the wild card spot. So when you come in as an NFL team, and as if I'm a fan of Indy, I'm like, what? He's not here to save the season? Then bring in some young gun who's up and coming, who maybe, or just wants to try, then somebody who you're just saying, okay, yeah, right now we're right there in the wild card spot, but we're going to bring him and we're not expecting to do anything. We're not expecting to the season to be saved. Basically, we're hanging up our shoes and we're bringing him in for a publicity stunt. And I think it was a poor choice of words by the Colts, because he was brought in to save the season. What is that saying to, Cam Newton has been very vocal and, of course, made it racial on why he wasn't asked to come and bring him in and whatever. But let's keep in mind, the Indianapolis Colts, what did they do last year? They took a commentator off ESPN and made him, Jeff Saturday, the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. But look, they were killing it at the beginning of the season. They were the best team in the NFL there for a while.
Yep.
They were, and it's kind of paralleling with the Bucks, guys.
I was going to say, who else was one of the best teams for a while, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't see us going to the playoffs. Sadly, I mean, I know we can, but I don't see it happening, Ed.
Let's hold on. Let's continue this. We have to hit the break. It is 20 minutes after the hour, so let's go take care of some business. Mike Straka may be on when we come back, and some things to vent about, some things to talk about. The Heisman and poor choice of words. We're going to talk about that. What happened in Michigan? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Staff Zone. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Danny Sheridan from USA Today, and you're talking sports with, I hate to say this, with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat? Berg Sports Bar and Grill. You want to have a drink? Where do you go? Berg Sports Bar and Grill. Having a get-together with the guys from the softball team? Where do you do it? That's right, Berg Sports Bar and Grill. Located at 1320 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, right across from Tropicana Field. Berg's is the best place to take the whole family for food and fun. Going to a Rays game? Have dinner before the game at Berg's, and after the Rays win, come and celebrate with all your friends at Berg's, right across from the Trop. So come down and see Berg and the whole gang at Berg Sports Bar and Grill. Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
At West Florida Roofing, they know how much of a financial burden a new roof can be. So not only do they offer extremely competitive prices, but they are offering up to 130 feet of gutters and downspouts absolutely free with a full roof replacement. Plus, financing is also available. I recently hired West Florida Roofing to replace my entire roof, and I couldn't be happier. From contract to cleanup, they did an amazing job. Call Joe today at 813-282-4000.
Check out fantasypets.com, where fantasy meets cutting-edge technology. We create breathtaking 3D printed fantasy creatures that captivate hearts and minds. From the T-Rex to the dragons and the shark to the crocodile, every fantasy pet is a testament to our dedication and precision and quality. You can request custom designs and bulk pricing as well. Go to fantasypets.com. That's fantasypets.com.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Fia with RE/MAX Realty Unlimited, 813-494-4873. For 29 years, I've had the honor of helping families across Tampa Bay find their perfect homes. As a national ranked award-winning agent, I pride myself on having the best customer service and deep local knowledge. Whether you're buying and selling in Tampa Bay, I'll guide you every step of the way. Jennifer Fio, 813-494-4873. Let's make your next move your best move.
8-Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8-Man Strong.
All right, this is Don King, and I'm listening to Talking Sports with Randy Harris. Join me. Don't touch that dial. We got something in store for you.
All right, we are back. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8-Man Strong and Staff Zone. I am at the global headquarters of Staff Zone. Don King, thank you for the intro. We're going to talk some boxing, but you know what's almost as difficult of replacing team members, co-hosts, producers, whatever, is changing your tax accountant. Have you guys gone through that? Have you changed somebody that you've used over years and how difficult it is to change?
I do it myself.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. It takes a lot of time, but I've had such bad experiences with accountants not filing things or doing something incorrectly, so I do it myself.
If other people are doing it and they're not as have enough time to do it as Leslie does, I finally made the decision to make a change. And I want to welcome to the program Daniel from Precision Accounting and Tax Solutions in Clearwater. We're going to get him on in the next week or two because it's tax time. And he's going to get everything straight for me. He can get everything straight for you. We're going to get details later on. But without further ado, Mr. Mike Straka, looking professional today. You're not walking the streets of
Mike.
The bad roads of New Jersey.
No, I'm not yet. Not yet. It's too cold out there.
Too cold for the walk of shames this time, Mike?
It's like 15 degrees and plus wind. The wind chill is crazy. It's like 8 degrees outside. It's really cold.
Stay in it and be warm. All right,
listen, I would rather do the walk of shame than no walk at all, Leslie. I mean, at my age, you got to take it where you can get it. Right, Ed?
Twice.
All right, so I have a question for you, Mike. As we talk week in and week out about words that I dislike, legend, GOAT, this, that, I picked up 3 names because everybody continues to call Khabib the GOAT. They continue to put Khabib on the Mount Rushmore. And again, there's many different ways to look at Mount Rushmore. You know, is it the best fighters? Is it who helped get wherever? And, you know, with the disagreement of the UFC. I looked up a glaring thing, and I want to know before I read these 3 stats. To you, what makes a GOAT? What is it?
Well, it's the whole package, I think. It's charisma, it's publicity, I mean, how they handle their celebrity, and of course, dispatching legends one at a time. I think there's a lot more than just stats, Randy. If you're gonna read me a bunch of stats, like the most significant strikes, the most takedowns, the most takedown defense, I really don't care about all of that.
No, I'm not going to do that, and I agree with you. There's a lot of things that go into it, but I think this is glaring enough, which nulls Khabib, because there's so many that are close. You know, if you say 4 and I say 4 and Leslie says 4 and Ed says 4, I'll bet you 2 of those are in everybody's 4. You know, there's those same names. Do you know how many title defenses GSP had?
9.
9. Very good. Do you know how many title defenses, and we're going to talk about Anderson Silva, who fights this weekend on the MVP card. How many did Anderson Silva have?
10.
You are correct. How many did Khabib have?
6.
3. So how can you, and with all being equal, I mean, I would put all 3 of those, you know, great fighters, this, that. One has 3 defenses. The other has 9 and 10. Wouldn't that kind of null him out of that conversation?
Not necessarily. I mean, you got to look at the weight classes too.
Well, but you can't.
Yes, you can.
It's like pound for pound. If we're going to look at the GOAT of the UFC, I'm not saying the GOAT of the weight class, because then that's different.
Well, no. My point is there are more opportunities at middleweight and at welterweight than there are at lightweight for title defenses.
Well, what about middleweight?
I said at middleweight and at featherweight. There are more opportunities for title defenses. So Anderson and GSP had more opportunity for title defenses than Khabib had.
I'll agree. So it's not comparable.
It's not
You can't
comparable.
compare it.
You can't
It's
compare
apples to
that.
oranges.
Not to mention, Randy, a lot of people didn't want to fight Khabib. A lot of people turned down fights with Khabib. So you can't hold that against him that he only had 3 title defenses. I disagree with you.
Somebody would have fought him.
No,
Right?
that wasn't the case, obviously. He had only 3 title defenses in what, how many years?
Not
6?
that long. No, I don't think it was that long. I'll Google it while we talk. I don't think he was champion that long.
I mean, everybody wanted to fight Anderson, and everybody wanted to fight GSP, not because of the legacy, but because of the payday. Are you going to? I can guarantee you, Khabib probably made money, but I guarantee you, his opponents didn't make a lot of money.
Oh, I agree with that.
But everybody who fought Anderson and everybody who fought GSP made a lot of money. You got to look at everything, Randy.
No, I do. No, I'm looking at everything.
All
You know,
right, well,
they were all superstars, this, that, the other. I was just looking as well as if that's the deciding factor.
I mean, I would nullify Khabib just for that reason alone, that he wasn't an exciting fighter. And I'm not saying that his wins are any less valuable because he wasn't an exciting fighter. However, if I'm a lightweight fighter and I have an opportunity to fight Conor McGregor or Nate Diaz or Khabib, I'm going to take Nate Diaz or Conor McGregor over Khabib any day of the week
And why is that?
because I'm going to make more money.
Your money. Which would be, which would definitely be Connor.
When does
And-
money
and-
not become an option?
Say again?
When does money not become an option?
Never?
Olympics.
Well, now that's not even true because you can be a professional athlete and go to the Olympics.
Yeah, but you still don't get paid to go to the Olympics. I mean, you get endorsements, I guess.
Right. You know, anybody who says, I do it for the love, then just do it in the streets.
Well, you get arrested for that.
Well, that's the problem. Right. or do it in the backyard of
Well-
Kevin Ferguson's house.
Yeah, and Masvidal did that too.
Right. No, for sure. Well, I just wanted to bring that up. You know, that's all. Did you see BKFC's announcement? Well, they're making the official announcement. Tony broke it, you know, on his Facebook page. Knucklemania, Super
Yeah.
Bowl Saturday night. The ageless one, Andre Orlovsky, taking on Big Ben Rothwell. Isn't that
Gonna-
like a train wreck just waiting to happen?
It's going to end really badly for Andre.
And then he'll surprise us.
No,
You know,
it's going to end badly for him.
No, I believe that. I agree
I
with
mean,
you.
Ben Rothwell with gloves on is dangerous. I would not fight that guy with no gloves on. Are you out of your mind? I mean, look what happened to Andre versus Fedor. He did that flying knee and he was slept. He's going to be slept by Ben Rothwell. That fight won't last more than 2 minutes.
I'll take the over.
All right, I'll bet you. I'll bet you. I don't know. I'll bet you. I'll bet you a free tax account, a free tax filing with the dude you're going to have on later.
With Daniel. With Daniel.
Yes.
What do I get?
Whatever you got to tell me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll have to. First, I got to talk to Daniel about it at Precision Accounting and Tax
Believe
Solutions.
me, he doesn't want to take my taxes on. Trust me on that. My taxes are going to take about a month to do.
Joshua Van wins the flyweight championship due to an injury. People are very upset that he celebrated
Oh, come
after
on.
he won.
People stink, man. Give me
And
a break.
here's the thing that's even worse and even bothers me even more. Not so much that people are upset that he celebrated. And I watched the fight. It didn't. No, you can't see it unless you're there. So we didn't see everything. But people that are calling him not the champion because he won it due to an injury. Guess what, boys and girls? He is the champion. He has the belt. He'll make the extra money in his next fight, which would be a defense of a world title. I just didn't know how up either one of you guys were on that. And
Yeah, but Randy, I mean, people say Patrick Mahomes is not a great quarterback because that's their opinion.
How can they? They're out of their minds. Anybody
Yeah.
who says that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's just their opinion.
no, for sure.
Opinion is crap.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
a
facts
lot
and
of them.
opinions.
A lot of people believe, as the knucklehead who's not here today, that when you win a title, you're not a world champion until you defend it, and I think that's ludicrous as well.
Yeah, but that's just an old school mentality from boxing. You know, Matt, I don't think Matt really believes that. I think he's just repeating what he's heard over the years from old school boxing guys. Because that is a boxing thing. You know, you're not a champ till you defend the title.
When you walk out with that belt, you're the as
Exactly. As soon as you cash a check, you're a champion.
Oh, and the other with bare knuckle, BKFC, Knucklemania, your new champion, Lorenzo Hunt, against, and it's ironic because I saw a post about Romano. Yeah, how do you say his first name? Yarol.
Just look up Superman.
Superman.
Yeah. What was Superman's real name? LL or Jor-El? I don't even know.
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent.
No, his Krypton name.
Oh, Jarrell. His dad was Jarrell.
His dad was Jor-El. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, getting a lesson on Superman. So Romero's taking on Lorenzo Hunt. I think that's probably going to be even worse than the Ben Rothwell decision, knockout. I mean, Lorenzo hadn't fought in years, and he walks right back in and takes the title back. That's a bad dude.
He's a bad dude. But again, it's bare knuckle boxing. It's not the same. Anything can happen. It's like anything can happen on the street. You know, my goodness, I would never do bare knuckle boxing. Leslie's going to kill me for saying this, especially if I was a woman.
Oh, why? Well, I mean, you're a fighter. I mean, you're so.
Oh my goodness!
But why? Because of the brutality?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Brutal.
I actually agree with you. I couldn't. You know, I did bare. Randy knows it. I did bare knuckle fighting a week ago with my Botox doctor, and he gave me a big shiner. I've got makeup on.
She's starting to train. She's so excited, Mike, because with the UFC going over to Paramount, so she'll be able to watch a lot of MMA, and now she's training so that she can talk about it, and she won't say things like, "What are you thinking when you're getting pounded?"
Yeah. Well, this is the good thing about having someone, you know, who loves the sport, but you know, is experienced in it as you guys. So it adds to it, right? I couldn't do it either. It's hard for me to watch slap fighting as well because of the brutality to it. But bare knuckle, I mean, it's just you know, I don't know. I mean, we do put too much emphasis on women's looks, if that's what you're meaning. But you know, we also probably like our looks a little bit better. Our thinnest skin, there's so many things that make it tougher. You know, I'll never
wait a second, Leslie. I have to call you out right now.
All right, call me out.
Women wear makeup.
Yes.
So who puts the emphasis on women's looks?
We do that for men, Mike.
You just admitted you went to her Botox.
Yes.
Okay. Who told you to do that?
Who told me to do it?
Yeah.
I told myself to do it because I want to continue to look good, and I want to get in this business.
But you just said men put too much emphasis on women's looks.
No, we put too much emphasis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we put everybody.
I thought you said men.
No, women do too. Oh no, it's 100% both ways. But but I also would like to say that the reason women do it is because it's for men mostly. I mean, I might be a difference a little bit to the exception there, but for the general, the reason we dress up, the reason we paint up, it's all, you know, to make our selves look better and more pleasing to men. That's just the truth of it. That's why.
Right, and all men have to do to look good to women is have a lot of money.
No, you got to have some.
No. Nope.
But and why is that?
I'm going to disagree with you, Michael.
There is a simple saying. Beauty is only a light switch away.
I thought you were going to say it was in the eyes of the beholder.
That all comes from women not being. That comes from the history of women not being given the same opportunities as men, and still not making as much for the same job, same amount of time overall. You know, that's where that comes from. So the closer we empower women, give them more money, the less all of that will decrease little by little by little. I mean, we're making strides all the time, but
it's very simple. All they got to do is have a boss like Les Moonves or Roger Ailes, and if women do the right thing, they'll make a lot of money.
Yeah, but women have been doing the right thing with mini bosses. I've dealt with it. I have been in conversations where I have literally been told the reason I'm being paid less, well, this person's got a family, he's got something, this much to feed, and it's like 30% less. I'm like, you're kidding? Over and over, I've dealt with it in my life. It's a real thing.
Well,
But there are.
I'm talking about sexual harassment. I wasn't talking about.
No, me neither. I'm talking about money.
No, I
I'm
was
not-
talking about sexual harassment. I was talking about sexual harassment.
Oh, you were.
That's
You
why I
were
mentioned Les Moonves and Roger Ailes, because
Oh,
the more you played ball with those guys, the more money you made if you're a woman.
but
Okay, moving right along.
all right.
It's
No,
true.
I know. No, I know it's true. I know it's true.
It
We're
is.
all against it, but it's true. It happens. We know it's happened.
I'm being facetious, but I'm also being serious at the same time.
Okay, so this is an interesting thing. When I was watching my little
I'll be
nephew
the judge.
play baseball, well, cup ball or whatever you call it, kind of.
T-ball. Cup ball? Did you call it cup ball?
Like, yeah, I guess he was like 6 or 7, little league. There
Okay.
wasn't. I looked over at the women's side, and this is out in Tampa, out at one of the fields in Tampa, and all the girls, they're a little bit old, they all had on face masks, and I was like, why are the women wearing face masks? And I was told, well, because they're women. And I was like, well, they're girls. And I was like, yeah, but the boys aren't. I was so confused. And it was just, nobody wanted to say anything on why. And it was because they value the face of a woman more than men.
I think it's more that it was women, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you a quick story. So I'm coaching a T-ball, or it was a little team. I don't think it was T-ball, the 9, 10, 11, 12. I would teach all of my base runners, Mike, you've played enough ball. You hit a ground ball, you run through first base. You don't slide, you don't stop. You run through first base until you hit the grass, past the clay. My son hits a ball on the right side of the infield. He's running down the baseline in where he's supposed to run, and he runs over the first baseman who was standing on first base. Anybody see anything wrong with what my son did?
Nope.
Leslie?
He ran over the first baseman who was standing on first base.
Yeah.
Did the first baseman already have the ball? Like,
No.
where was the ball?
No, the first baseman didn't have the ball, and you still need to get out of the way. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't stand on first base.
Yeah,
If you-
same thing with a catcher. I mean, you're going to get hit. You're going to,
Right.
you're
I was
running
gonna
into
say,
home.
what's the difference between blocking home first base and blocking the home plate?
Yeah.
Well, which they have
Same
since
thing.
changed because of Pete Rose and everybody running over. Well, what happened was my son got thrown out of the league. Now, of course, Mr. Randy went a little insane and had to teach him baseball, but it was not because it was a first baseman. It was because it was a female first baseman, and that he could have hurt her and this, that, the
Oh,
other.
God. It's such crap.
It
I
is.
mean, it's just such crap. It's like what you're doing is you are devaluing all of those girls out there by putting face masks on them. They're saying your looks are more important than focusing on this game. And you better keep that in mind, because your whole life, your looks are going to define you just as they are right now. And that's why the boys don't wear face masks and you have to wear face masks in the field. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It's crap, Randy. It's total crap. And I'm sorry he got kicked out.
Well, no, he
The
got
girl should have
that.
tripped him anyway.
He they figured out that they were wrong. Mike, did you catch any of the Heisman balloting and what was said and all that kind of stuff? And if so, what's your thoughts?
I didn't see any of it.
Well, he's since retracted, but your runner-up, who's had a great career. He's changed schools. He started, like in a JUCO, worked his way up. Then he went and really helped turn around Vanderbilt. Will be in Tampa in 2 weeks. New Year's Eve day, they take on Iowa. Well, he just went off F you to the voters, F this, F that. I didn't need you. I don't want you. It's bull garbage, because he was runner-up. He took second, which is still a huge accomplishment coming from where he came from. He has since retracted.
Yeah.
And
He's a
the
sore
Indiana
loser.
quarterback, which, he was a poor loser.
Yeah. It's a shame though, because I grew up outside of Nashville, I was a little girl here, but I was raised in Hendersonville, which is a burb of Nashville.
Didn't somebody famous go to your high school?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Is Taylor Swift famous?
No, not really.
Not
Okay.
really.
Even though Mike interviewed her when she was just a young pup.
Did you? She was probably sweet as could be, right?
She was awesome.
Yeah.
She was great.
Yeah, that's great. I really she started giving money back to our high school back when she was 15 came out when she was still a teenager. She was giving a lot of money away.
Did you see what she gave every member of her staff? Every single person, the truck drivers, the backup dancers, anybody involved with her got $100,000 bonus.
Oh, I knew it was the truck drivers. I didn't know it was everyone in the
Well,
staff.
no, the dancers actually got $750,000.
Oh.
You're kidding.
No, I'm
Because
not
it's harder
kidding.
to dance than drive, I guess.
Do you see
It's
what I mean?
crazy,
You know,
crazy, right?
I mean, that's
She
They-
gave $192 million away in bonuses. God
and what
bless
is
her.
that?
Yeah, for
What-
sure.
Now think about that. What is that compared to her tour grossed
$2 billion.
$2 billion? So what did she do? She gave
20%.
away 10%.
10%, yeah.
That is what you're supposed. When you
Yes.
talk biblical, when you talk everything, 10% went
Yep.
back to the people that she made happen.
And,
that woman is operating on an entirely
You know,
different.
you know who I hear in my ear right now? Daniel from Precision Accounting and Tax Solutions. That was a great tax write-off. 10% of $2 billion.
Well, she makes so much money. I doubt she even pay. I mean, there's so many loopholes that you don't when you're that rich, you rarely pay income tax. But the point is, it's not being greedy, and that's just the ones that we know about, Mike. When she goes into places that she actually plays at, the amount of money that she gives to the food banks is off the charts. I remember the person in LA said Taylor Swift gave us enough money. He didn't say there's probably an agreement where she doesn't want the amount given out. He said she's given us enough money to feed everybody something like 10 times more for 10 years.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that's raised in those cities when she comes. All right, let's go hit a quick break. Coming to you live from all over New Jersey, outside of Atlanta. Where are you this week, Leslie?
I'm in Tampa today.
Back in Tampa, where it's nice and warm, a brisk 62. This is Knockout Radio.
Hi, this is Keenan McCardell, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
Hey, Mike.
Rhino Cards, located at 406 11th Avenue North in St. Petersburg,
You
is your
remember the whole
one-stop
Katy
card collection
Perry,
facility, specializing in
Swift
all sports,
dance,
Pokemon,
my
Star
dancer
Wars,
thing?
and of course, Knockout
Okay.
Radio's favorite, the
I
UFC.
wonder if those
If you're
dancers
looking to purchase, sell,
went
or
to
trade,
Katy
then
Perry
Rhino
like,
Cards is the place for you. Details are
WTF
covered with
on
some
my
very
life.
awesome
What did
merchandise
I do?
Thanks to Rhino Cards as well. That's Rhino
Yes.
Cards, conveniently located
I
in St.
just thought about
Petersburg,
that.
on 4th
They're
Street
like-
and 11th
And I
Avenue.
wonder if
Gave us $1
Taylor,
million, man.
I wonder if Taylor thought about that. Oh, I'll show them.
Hair care and grooming provider who
He
caters to
loves,
everyone,
he loves
women,
to say Carmen
men,
Savich.
kids,
Yep.
and senior citizens.
Nobody
He
does
needed an
revenge
affordable,
better like me,
upscale
better than
environment
me.
staffed
And the
with the
nice-
most talented professionals
Yep.
in the business. Visit
Yeah,
Nick for hair
that's a
at
good
Concert
point.
Events today at 4376 Park Boulevard in Pinellas Park, or call them at 727-290-9873.
Say goodbye to outdated equipment and welcome the latest smart technology into your home. With Cool Breeze AC, you can effortlessly control the temperature and create the perfect environment from anywhere at any time. Call Cool Breeze today at 727-954-3605.
8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
Hey, this is Mike Ditka, and you're listening to Talking Sports with Randy Harris.
All right, boys and girls, we are back. I am back, coming to you live from the global headquarters of Staff Zone. Mike Straka in New Jersey. Falls River? Still in Falls River?
No, Tom's River.
Tom's River. Where's Falls River? Is that Michigan?
Yeah.
I think that's Michigan. And Leslie, not far from George Steinbrenner Field, located somewhere in the Tampa area. Either one of you, really any of the three of you, wrestling fans?
You mean like folk wrestling, like college?
Right now, we're going to talk scripted.
Like,
Okay,
oh,
no, I have not watched a WWE wrestling match since I was like 5 years old.
I watched it as a child. I haven't really watched one, and maybe I was 9 the last time. I used to watch it all the time in Tampa as a little girl, but I thought it was real then too.
The last time I watched wrestling, Randy, Ted DiBiase was the champion. Mr. Wonderful was the Intercontinental Champion. Superfly Snuka was huge. And the Invaders were the tag team champions. And I couldn't tell you, like, I know who The Rock is. I know who Mankind is. I know who John Cena is, but I've never seen him wrestle. I've never seen The Rock wrestle, ever. I saw Mankind wrestle once because I actually auditioned to be a commentator for the WWE. And the guy was ripping his hair out of his face. And I said during the audition, I go, what the hell is he doing? And I didn't get the job.
Yeah, obviously. Well, I want to talk about John Cena, but since you brought up Mankind, I forget what his real name is right now.
Nick something?
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley.
Yeah. He has allegedly, now we don't know if this is AI, but it's been all over the place. When his contract is up, he is walking away from the WWE at least till the next presidential election.
Well, he's got to be 50 years old, right?
Oh, he looks like he's 90. Nobody has done what Mick Foley has done. Now, I will say that. You know, the extreme stuff, jumping off, landing on tacks, this, that, the other. But really what I wanted to bring up, and obviously it's not going to help since neither one of you know much about it or watched it, John Cena has retired. Yeah. All year he went through the John Cena final tour. I didn't like when they turned him heel, for this last ride. Then they flipped him back to being a babyface. And a lot of people are up in arms, and a lot of fans, like the casuals, maybe not, but the avid fans that he tapped for his final match, allegedly will never wrestle again. And a lot of people, me included, he should have gone out on the scripted Shield and had Gunter choke him unconscious, allegedly. Obviously we know it's not real, than to have him tap. I think he goes out on a bigger thing of him going out on his sword, being, choked unconscious. But a lot of people are up in arms on the script and how he tapped for his final match.
Well, I think it's a metaphor. He tapped. He's like, I'm tapping out on my career. I've done it long enough, and I'm tapping out. And I respect
what
that.
he did.
You got to respect that.
Well, what everybody's saying, the people more involved than me, it's not really what he wanted, even though he did have a say. It's what Triple H wanted. And when a wrestler retires, they do kind of pass the torch. But I agree. I thought it would have been better. And I get that, what you said, that he's tapping out of his career, which he has said. When I ever got to the point where I couldn't do, the travel, this, I used to do whatever he said he did, 280, nights a year. Now he's doing 26. He can't do it. And it makes sense what you're saying, that he's tapping out of his career. I just think longevity of the people, the fans today, would have liked to have seen him just gone unconscious, allegedly, than tapping. Charles Lewis is thinking differently.
You mean Mask?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's where I meant Mask. Yeah. I knew you'd get it. Nobody else does.
I know, but I don't understand the correlation there.
Well, because it's tap out. Charles Lewis is tap out.
Oh, right. Okay. I just thought of him dying, and I was like, what do you mean? Okay, never mind. I get
do you
it
think
now.
Cena's going to be able to continue down the movie path?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, he's a huge movie star.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, leaving it again. Like, do you think he's going to be able to stay relevant, like, say, in 5 years from now?
Do you know how many TV commercials John Cena does?
Oh, I know. I'm just
saying. So he's going to be busy. The other day I'm like, oh, there's Cena again. They don't even show him. It's just his voice. So yeah, he'll definitely be relevant. I don't think he's the greatest actor. I don't think he's a B-level actor either. But
yeah, he's somewhere in the middle. But he's interesting. He's not going to be as big as The Rock or anything, but we'll see.
Not sure anybody will be as big as The Rock.
Coming from wrestling, no.
Period. Isn't The Rock the biggest movie star right now?
Well, he's the highest paid.
Yeah.
Is he the highest paid? I did not know that. Wow.
But he's not the biggest movie star. Tom Cruise is still the biggest movie
Yeah.
star.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, money-wise.
Yeah.
Leslie said, is money all that matters? And I say yes. So, yeah, I mean, there's bigger movie
I
stars.
often think about sports and even at the professional levels. Sometimes you want to just do something like, for example, money actually wasn't the driving force for Tom Brady. We all know that he took less money over and over again so he could get, and he's the best quarterback.
Hold on.
In the NFL. He did. He took lower to help with the salary cap.
Hold on a second.
Let me finish my thought.
Well,
okay.
I'm just going to correct on what you were saying, but I can correct you later.
Okay. So I mean, he got paid more with the that's not even a question. He consistently took lower money than what he could have been paid if he went to other teams and to keep the salary cap where it was to grab other players. Okay. That's a known thing about Tom Brady. He was underpaid. When you look at the greatest quarterbacks, he made much less than them. It wasn't the driving force is my point. So when I ask, well, at what point does money not become an issue? I wonder what would be a motivation with fighters. Like Tom wanted to win a Super Bowl at any cost, right? So he'd take less money for it. But in other sports like fighting, when's the time where you want to just go out there and you can give me an example of maybe you think a fighter would take somebody on just because, they want the glory and they don't necessarily are going to get a big paycheck for it.
All right, Mike, before you respond, I just want to let Leslie and everybody know, when you read or hear about a player takes less money or when they renegotiate their contract, they're not taking less money. They're taking it less money as a salary. That money, if they transfer it from salary to a bonus, it doesn't count against the salary cap.
I know that, but Tom Brady still overall was paid significantly less than other quarterbacks that he was much better than. And he worked things like that out so he could get other players to stay on the team that were good and get them more money. This is,
No, that's true.
Yeah.
He would renegotiate. Mike Evans has renegotiated, or I forget what the word is called that they do, where they take X amount, move it from salary into a bonus. So they're not giving the money back. They're just taking it off the quote unquote salary portion.
Yeah, I understand
Or the
it. I know
salary
how
cap.
it works, but I'm still
So they're
saying
not taking
Tom
less
Brady-
money. They're just moving the money.
Tom Brady was paid less than quarterbacks.
Did you see the thing about Tom Brady? I just happened to see it this morning that he gifted when he played for the Patriots. He gifted brand new SUVs to his entire offensive line. And Brady's sitting there as whoever the commentator was. It doesn't matter, male or female. But this person said blah, blah, blah. And Brady's just starting to laugh. And then after it all came out, then this person goes, it was for 1 year. So he didn't give them the cars. He just paid for the SUVs for a year.
What?
Still, yeah, he didn't give them the cars. He just gifted a 1 year lease on these cars.
Oh, because he wanted them to keep playing for him. Keep busting ass. They get a second year,
You protect me year 2, you get it.
That's hilarious. I also know he gave them watches. I think he gave our Bucks watches, didn't he?
Yeah.
Our O-line, yeah, he gave them watches,
Well, they all do it, which, it's like a Christmas gift. And
well, it's a tax deduction too.
That's straight from Daniel at Precision Accounting and Tax Solutions in Clearwater. It's always
There you
a
go.
great tax
But
deduction.
it's not a tax deduction if you don't write it off.
Well, that's
Right, but you're right. But you would imagine
All
that.
right, we're at the top of the hour. Let's hit the top of the hour break, the news, and we'll be back in 5 and 5. Okie dokie, Smokey.
Leslie, you look pretty.
I do.
You do.
Thanks.
You like that
Thanks,
black
man.
eye, huh?
Botox and Ozempic's finally working. You know,
I don't think you ever needed Ozempics.
I'm not doing that yet.
Don't ever do that. I hear there's more health problems to that than anything else.
I think so, but I appreciate it. You look very dapper as usual.
Just be aware we are live.
I'm wearing a rash guard.
I literally, Mike, I've got a big shiner right here. Like someone just punched me from my Botox guy. And I haven't had Botox in a couple years, but I got it, you know, just preventative stuff. And sure enough, he hit something. So
Well, I'm back training Muay Thai at Frankie Edgar School, and I am feeling my age.
oh yeah.
I do well in class, and the next day I can barely get out of bed. I can barely walk. It takes me a half hour just to get my legs underneath me again.
Isn't it weird? It comes and goes. Like some days I'm like that, and then other days I don't feel it as much.
You know, Leslie, I wish I could just be like, I go to these classes and I have to kick the hardest and kick the fastest and be the best all the time. And I beat myself up. I don't know why I do it.
Because we're masochists.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what
It's like I can't, like, I'll go in there saying, all right, I'm going to go light today. I'm not going to kick hard. I'm not going to. And then 5 minutes into class, I'm kicking the pads as hard as I can. I want to hear that sound. I want my partner to be like, "Oh, that hurt." You know what I mean? Like,
holy crap.
What?
I'll say
yeah,
it
it's
on
like
the air.
it's like Pavlov's dogs in a sense. I think when we get back into there, we just in our own brain, we still feel like we're 27.
20. Yeah.
You know, I went and when I was at Channel 8, I was still playing soccer and I was playing on a men's team and I was the goalie and it was a competitive league. And one time I caught a ball and it wasn't even a hard ball. It was just, and it pushed my fingers back into, and so I'm like 41 or something with it, pushed my fingers back into my hand. And then it was wild. It didn't break the skin. So it was like I had, you know, condom fingers or something. It was the strangest thing. And so I go into work and my news director pulls out the contract. He's like, you can't play goalie. Because then it's like, you know, the next 6 weeks, I've got this big thing on my arm. But in my head, you know, and I'm still diving and I'm still hitting, it would take me 5 days to recover. Where it used to take a day, maybe 2 days, where then I felt, but in my brain, I'm still trying to make the same dives. They don't look as good. They're not as good, you know, and I'm getting hurt much more than I did 10, 15 years ago. But for some reason, you know, sometimes it takes something happening before you're like, all right,
This might be
maybe
involved, but
I shouldn't be so intense with this. My body is not the same, you know.
No, it's not. Hey, Randy, you'll get a kick out of this. So I've got, what's this one? This is lisinopril. Lisinopril. And this one is chlorothalidone. And then, of course, I've got these freaking potassium chlorate.
I'm
Those things-
familiar with lisinopril.
A lot of
What's that?
cost savings and
I'm
energy.
familiar with lisinopril.
Yeah, my blood pressure was 171 over 122. And that was
wow.
And that was just normal.
Pay for heat.
CBS's Jim Krasula. Tonight's Powerball jackpot has surged to
do you mean it was normal?
1.25 billion.
1.25 billion.
You know, I've never played the lotto, but I played today.
Yeah, I'm gonna
parts and
have-
service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk. Entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
Hey, this is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and you're listening to Knockout Radio. Bam, baby. Good night.
All right, we are back. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. We do need to talk about Jake Paul, but I just saw as I was jumping on Dr. Google, and I believe that I've confirmed this. Do you know Tom Brady's connection to the UFC, Mike?
Well, can you elaborate a little bit?
Well, he's connected more than just he's friends with Dana White.
Well, I mean, he probably owns a piece of it.
He has a relative who has worked for the UFC for an extremely long time, and a high up the food chain relative. I had no idea. Tom Brady's cousin is Sean Shelby.
Really?
How about that?
That's
and for those who don't know, Sean Shelby is the matchmaker.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. I remember when Sean Shelby was Joe Silva's assistant.
Yeah, I do too. And again, for those people that don't know, Joe Silva, the former matchmaker, went in the Hall of Fame, I believe. Didn't Joe Silva go in?
Yes, he did.
No, what year did Shelby get
Sean
into the
started?
business? I wonder, like,
He-
what time? How old is he? That's a better question. Is he Tom's age, or is he like a younger cousin?
He's in his 50s.
Okay, so he came out before Tom did.
Well, the UFC was around, yeah. Well, he started working for UFC, I think, around 2004.
Okay, so that's right when Tom had what won the Super Bowl in 01 or 02.
Yeah, but he wasn't high up there back then.
He probably didn't even start. I would assume that he started on the local circuit like we all do.
Yeah, he was doing the prelims for a while, for a long time, and I never even met Mick Maynard. Right? Isn't he another matchmaker?
Yes, yes.
Never met the guy. Like, he came after I was already gone from the scene.
Right.
But interesting. Yeah, Shelby's a great guy. Really great guy.
And a good matchmaker.
Yeah. Well, he learned from the best. I mean, Joe Silva was the best. I mean, Dana White's the best matchmaker, but let's be honest. But Joe Silva, he had an eye, man, for talent. He could pick a guy and say, that guy's got to be a UFC champion when the guy's like 18 years old.
He's got great potential. All right, let's talk about Jake Paul taking on Joshua this weekend. I think it's Friday, right? Friday, Saturday? I think it's Friday.
Didn't Joshua just come out and say, if I could kill you, I'm going to?
I even wrote it down. Anthony Joshua said, if I can kill you, I will kill you. I have a problem with that.
I don't. I just think he's hyping the fight.
He is. No.
Now-
And again, I understand it. It's the hype.
Yeah.
But,
Now, if he does kill him by accident, then I'd have a problem with him saying that.
and
He'd be in jail, maybe.
Well, I don't know, because how many times, and we've talked about this before, Mike, on a situation, a pretty well-known baseball player called me earlier who had been known to purposely throw at batters. It's part of the game. But now once you've said that. if
Pedro
you
Martinez?
No.
No.
It was Brad Penny, who he's told me some great stories and how he would purposely hit people, as they all do. My brother pitched college. He got a signal. He knew what that signal was. The signal was in the ear hole. Take care of it. And
I pitched horseshoes and I threw them at a couple of people a couple of times. And that didn't really work out for me.
But if it's in the middle of the competition, is it as big a deal? But now if you've said, I purposely threw it at you, you slice a guy in hockey, it's an accident. You fall down the skate. But if you say, if I get a chance and we go glove to glove and I have the chance, I'm going to slice you. And then it's an accident and you get sliced. Is it now something more than just something that happened in the event, in the game?
Is it premeditated? It's interesting. It's not it is hyperbole, obviously. But, there is that chance where it actually happens. It can happen. And then it becomes more than hyperbole. Then it becomes, was it premeditated? Did he do it on purpose? And then all the Monday morning quarterbacks come in. And then, you got to be careful about what you say when you hype up a fight. You really do.
Who's the heavyweight from Texas, the Black Beast? Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis has come out and said he cheats on purpose, that he will poke you in the eye on purpose because you don't take a point. You give a warning, you do this. He goes, I'm going to keep doing it until I get my warning.
Well, until they make it, have you suffer more consequences from doing it. That's the key. They need to change the rules on the eye poking.
No, they don't need to change the rules, Leslie. They need to enforce the rules.
You're right. That's correct.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those, it's supposed to be a sportsman and this, that, the other. But if you know that you're not going to get penalized, is it still a penalty? Is it still cheating?
I mean, look at performance enhancing drugs. There's so many ways around tests There's so many ways to mask it. Everybody's on it. You have to be. It's almost impossible to compete at the levels in any sport. Even golf players take steroids, for crying out loud. I mean, who would have thought you needed steroids to play golf? But you do.
Except for John Daly.
Yeah,
His steroids is alcohol.
I was going to say vodka counts.
Cigarettes and alcohol. Just
He's
rip
like
it, rip it.
the Babe Ruth of golfing, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Craziness.
Cool. All right.
Well,
No, it's
All right, I want to talk about Jake here a little bit.
okay.
Okay. I don't like the guy.
I love the guy.
Why is that?
Why do you hate him?
Tyson?
But before we get into it, so we have one that likes him and one that doesn't. Where are you on this, Mike?
I don't think about Jake Paul ever.
So it's a draw.
Yeah, I have no opinion about Jake Paul. Anyway, keep going.
Go ahead, Les. Why do you hate him?
Well, I just feel like he's an embarrassment to the sport. And the whole Tyson thing, I mean, come on. You've met Mike Tyson, right, Randy?
I have. I'm sure you have too, haven't you, Mike?
Yeah, I've interviewed him.
Okay, and so you're talking about. I mean, Mike is a very interesting character. I've never met him, but he is a legend. Okay, and he's also an old man. All right, so when you go out there and you do this fight as though something about it is going to be real, you make all this money on it. It just makes you a laughing stock, you know. And I just felt like he looked like the biggest jerk for that. I just didn't like it at all.
So who, in your opinion, is wrong? Jake Paul for fighting the guy, or the guy looking like he did fighting Jake Paul? It's not Jake Paul.
Oh, he sets it. Come on, it's a Jake Paul show. You know, he made Tyson a sideshow.
Hold on, Leslie. You hit the nail right on the head. You said that Jake Paul is bad for boxing. This is not boxing. It's a show.
Yeah, but he's using boxing. He's trying to make it look real. I mean, I get it, but let's just call it for what it is. It's a joke. And so if you really think people really thought, oh, come, Mike's going to take him, you know, Mike's going to, you know, go out there. And it was just sad to look at wobbly legs just moving around and around and around and around. It was so disappointing.
Leslie, what will you do? What will you say? How will you respond if this fight on Friday is competitive? Nobody really believes, except for Jake Paul and his team, that Jake Paul is going to win this fight. If it's a competitive fight against Anthony Joshua, are you going to change your opinion?
No, I'm not going to change my opinion because the Tyson thing was I just had too strong of a reaction to it. It was just sad. It was so sad to see an old man out there. And
Let me posit this to you, Leslie. If Jake Paul gets the crap beat out of him and gets knocked out, would that change your opinion about what he's doing?
It'll certainly make me feel better, Mike. Yeah. I would enjoy that thoroughly. And that's actually what I want to happen.
Yes.
So,
that's what you wanted to happen with Tyson too.
And that's why you paid, and that's why people paid for it, because they wanted to watch.
No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to just see something real. I wanted Mike to be decent. And instead it wasn't like that. It wasn't even, they weren't even really boxing. It was just sad. It was an old man that you're, you know, throwing out there. And I felt like Mike's legend was tarnished quite a bit from that. And I thought it was in very poor sport. Let's just say that. But
I agree with you. I do agree with you that it was in poor sport. I do agree with that. However, I think it illustrated how mentally ill Mike Tyson is.
We all know that.
But
Okay.
I mean, that alone should have disqualified him from any athletic commission, from any tournament, from any competition. And there's a lot of people to blame. It's not just Jake Paul. These are sanctioned bouts. You know, they should not have sanctioned Mike Tyson to fight.
That's a great point, and I agree with you. They should not have sanctioned him to fight. And I will say this: if Joshua doesn't beat the crap out of Paul, I don't believe it. I think it's fixed.
Well, we all think it's fixed. It's been fixed since day one. Now, the hope that all people who watch these things have is that this one won't be fixed. It happens all the time. We happened with Nate Diaz. It happened with Tyrone Woodley. It happened with Askren. Happened with Tyson. Everybody's like, this one won't be fixed, but they're all fixed. So if
was the Fury one fixed?
No, but actually, ironically, that's the only one I didn't see.
Okay, and that's the one he lost.
Yeah,
I remember Tyson and McNeely, and do you remember that one when that was the first one after I think he got out of jail, and it was so hyped, and we paid for all this money, and it was like 20 seconds. Except Christy Martin opened for him, and that was exciting because you got to see her as a woman fighter, and I've never seen anybody bleed so much on pink ever, but that was incredible. And that sort of launched women's boxing, launched it. But it was a joke. And that's when ever since the Tyson stuff, I've not been, except for Holyfield, I have been completely not interested in boxing. That's when I started to get into MMA or start watching it because I felt like it was real and everything was fixed in boxing. But if he doesn't get the crap beat out of him, and then it's a joke.
I'm going to say, I'm going to bring it to the MMA world. If for instance, Randy Couture was offered a fight with Jake Paul, I guarantee you Randy would say, no, I'm not doing that. That's not my game. That's not what I'm good at. I'm not going to do it. And that's the difference between Mike Tyson and Randy Couture. Mike Tyson, he's notoriously broke all the time because he doesn't manage his money. So he needed the money. And there's so many rumors about the contract, how, there's certain he couldn't throw at full power. Tyson couldn't. And you did see him hold up a bunch of punches in that first round where he could have, we think he could have knocked him out, but it looked like he could have. There was
the first round.
Hold on a sec. I'm sending a text message. If Jake Paul offered Randy Couture, how much? Give me an unrealistic number, or
$10 million.
Okay, I'm going to ask him.
All right, good.
Now, what is this question? Let's repeat this question.
If Jake Paul offered Randy Couture $10 million to fight, would he fight?
Huh.
Well, actually, Randy, we should make it a realistic number because $10 million, I think Randy would take on a jet. If Randy would take on a school bus. All right, so let's say $500,000. Would you do it for $500,000?
Now let's say $1 million because 500 after taxes.
No, there's no way that he would do that for $1 million. I don't think. But $10 million, I think he does. I think he comes back and says for $10 million he'd do it.
Yeah, for $10 million, yeah, I would do it too. I'd get my butt kicked and I would do it for $10 million. I would gladly take a shot for $10 million.
Yeah,
so $10 million is a little. Of course, he's going to fight for $10 million. But
they're realistic competitors.
Yeah, but Randy's not a boxer.
But it's $10 million.
But Randy's also not mentally ill, and he's not as old as he is as old as Tyson, actually.
Yeah, I think he's. Yeah.
But he's in much better shape, because Randy was smart. He wasn't, and Randy doesn't party like Tyson partied. There was they're two different people. It's apples to oranges. My point I was trying to make was that Randy's not mentally ill. Tyson's mentally ill.
A fight I do want to talk to you about, Mike, and I didn't say Leslie because she's just now getting into our world of mixed martial arts. One of the people I do consider a GOAT of the UFC, Anderson Silva, is fighting Tyron Woodley.
I know.
Dead silence isn't good.
No, I just don't know why. I don't know why. First of all, he's going to kill Woodley.
I'm going to say why? Money.
Yeah, nah. How much money could that fight generate?
But, and we've talked about this.
That fight's not generating any money, Randy. Any money. BKFC, and I know you're going to disagree with me, but the rumor is they canceled Frankie's fight because they didn't sell enough tickets. That place was packed. The place was packed.
So they did sell enough tickets.
Yeah, but they offered Frankie way more money than they should have.
Right. No, I understand that.
So now you're talking about Woodley versus Anderson. That's crazy. First of all, Woodley's my height. Anderson is what, 6'3"? What are these, like 5'7", 5'8"?
Probably.
Come on, man. It's gonna be like, it's gonna look terrible. It's gonna be bad. It's bad. It's not even, the fight won't even happen, Randy. I guarantee you the fight's not gonna happen.
All right. Well, A, we will see. B, what I have always said is, who are we, fans, media? Now, the commission.
I'm not saying they shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I'm just saying go for it, and it's more money.
I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but
some of these guys, after they're fighting, they're still training, they're still going in the gym. So if they are training, even if they're not, if it's an opportunity for them to make some money, and people are going to watch it, they're going to watch it. Is it a train wreck or not? They're going to watch. Is this going to be a train wreck? We're going to watch to see. Now, Leslie made a comment about Tyson, hurting his legacy. So is this, and Anderson fought Tito, boxed him down in Miami. We went to it. Does that tarnish Anderson Silva's legacy?
No.
I just don't think the legacy is comparable in itself.
It isn't. She's right about that. Leslie's right about that. However, Leslie, I will take a bit of contention in what you said. Like, you think that Jake Paul fight ruined or tarnished Mike Tyson's legacy?
Yeah.
I think biting Evander Holyfield's ear off tarnished Mike Tyson's legacy.
No, dude, that solidified it. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I think raping women tarnished his legacy.
But that's who he is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, biting him.
So then how can you be sad? How can you be sad that he made a joke of himself? He's, I hate to, Leslie, I get a very mixed feelings about Tyson. Was he a great boxer? Yes. Was he a great person? Absolutely not.
Absolutely. I agree.
Not a single person would disagree with that.
But I'm going to say this. I'm going to add, I think he has become a better person, and I think he has a lot to offer in this
I agree
world,
with that. I do agree with that.
His motivational speaking is phenomenal.
Okay, that I 100% agree with you, but tarnishing his legacy by being a clown in a clown show, it's just a payday to me. I don't think that tarnishes legacy. I think biting Evander Holyfield's ear in a real match tarnished his legacy.
Yeah, it just shows. But I think that was honest Mike. Up here,
yes,
with Jake Paul is not honest Mike. Raping a woman or whatever, that's honest Mike. That's Mike. But this shit show of whatever, pardon my language.
Ship. She said ship. SHIP.
Yeah.
She's Army. She wanted to be Navy, and that's why she said ship.
I do. That's my joke. I say ship show. That just happened with with Paul is not Mike. And granted, he's broke or whatever the case is. Like he needs to buy more pigeons. I don't know, but it wasn't really who he was. He was just. I didn't
know that he was still broke. I thought his farm was doing real well.
He's perennially broke. Perennially broke.
He is. I mean, but here's the thing. Again, I think that Mike could have gone one way or the other, and he went in a positive direction. After all of this in life, he's constantly trying to be a better person, I think, but he knows he's messed up and he admits it. And so I'm going to give him that, because where he is at now at life, when he's talking to people and he's trying to motivate them and he's being very, very honest, and he's being Mike. But here he wasn't Mike. The ear biting.
We can go in so many different directions with this topic, because while I agree that his one-man show on Broadway was a very huge success, the Tyson documentary was a huge success that James Toback did, to quote Chris Rock, would Orenthal, the bus driver who killed his wife and her boyfriend, would Orenthal, the bus driver, get away with murder?
Of course not.
Right. So would Orenthal, the rapist who bit somebody's ear, who went to jail, get a Broadway show or get a documentary made about him or have this big comeback speaking tour? Of course not. So while he has become a motivational person and somebody who's inspiring, there are other people that never get that opportunity who could be just as inspiring as Mike Tyson is. He got those opportunities because he's Mike Tyson.
Right, but that you're absolutely 100% correct. But I will say this, and I'll add this in here: he went to jail. Okay. He's not an OJ, and he's not, other people who have he's not a Bill Cosby kind of situation. I think Mike Tyson is a little bit different because he did his time. And the amazing thing is he's so messed up that when he came up for parole, remember he said, "Don't take me out." And he stayed in longer because he's like, he was enjoying it in there.
That's a boss move right there.
It's true, Mike.
Well,
So
his very first press conference out of jail when he was talking about for a fight. Remember, he said to the reporter, some reporter asked him, "Are you planning on raping any more women while you're out?" And Tyson went off on him and said, "I will F you until you love me." I will F you up the what until you fall in love with me. He said that in a press conference on national television.
Lord, I didn't know that.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
That's Mike.
Yeah, that's Mike.
But he also there's been an arc in this man. There has been an arc in how he communicates, and there has. And so I'm going to give him that. And do I particularly like him or anything? No, not necessarily. Did I love to watch him fight when he was a fighter? Yeah, until the post post prison days, which the fights were mostly just jokes. But anybody else, I don't think you could even, I don't. This other guy you're talking about, it's not even comparable.
I want to throw another subject out real quick before we run out of time. Jim Harbaugh is getting destroyed in social media because he reached out to his former offensive coordinator, the now former Michigan head coach. Give me your thoughts on that.
I believe me, you don't want to know my thoughts on this. I just think,
I do. That's why I asked you.
Well, part of me is like, men are stupid. All right, if you look at the downfall of powerful men in this country, whether it's Roger Ailes or Les Moonves or Harvey Weinstein, it's all because of sex or money. People are so, their brains do not work when they're confronted with sex or money. How many people embezzle money from millionaires, right? Multimillionaires. It's not enough. They got to embezzle more money.
Greed.
Yeah. And then the greed for power, like, sex in that situation it's not about sex. It's about power. Roger Ailes didn't need to have sex with all those women. Now this guy he was making $30 million for 6 years to coach a college football team, and he has sex with his administrative assistant. Now, I just think it's the dumbest thing. And then he broke it off, or she broke it off. Oh, he broke it off,
No, I believe she did. I believe she did.
Yeah. And he goes ballistic over that. I just man, and of course, guys being guys, they see the picture of her like, "Oh yeah, I would too." Well, then you're an idiot too.
That's
because you know how much money he lost? His family is ruined. His career is gone.
Oh yeah, all of it. All because of what he did after it came out.
Well, that's not necessarily true. He got fired before that, before he went to her house.
Well, no, that's why he got fired. But I'm saying
no. He got fired before. Oh no, they fired him. They fired her. They fired her first.
Well, I don't know about that. I just know that.
Here's what happened. They found out about this relationship, and they talked to her, and they said to her, "You need to stay away from him." They didn't talk to him. They talked to her. And then she said, "What? Why is it my fault?" And then she went and she made a formal complaint that he was sexually harassing her and stalking her. Then they had to fire him. And that's when he went ballistic, went to her house and "You ruined my life. Right. You ruined my life."
But what I'm saying is, if he wouldn't have gone to her house, he may or may not have, depending on the family, lost his family. I think he still would have coached.
No, he would have lost his job anyway, because after she made the report, they would have had to fire him.
At Michigan, I'm saying he still would have coached. He would have found some place to coach. So he ruined his own life by going and taking it further than he needed to do.
Well, he wasn't thinking clearly, obviously.
The felony home invasion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You think?
felony home invasion and threatening, with a deadly weapon, even if he threatened himself, it's still a crime.
Right. So no, now his life is over.
Yeah,
He'll never coach again. He'll never.
he'll never
He
work
would-
again. He'll be making pizza with me.
We ought to have a pizza off. We ought to get all together. You, Rip, Santa, the knucklehead who's driving in the car lane again today, and do like a pizza off. Now we did it with the Buccaneers. We brought 6 or 8 Buccaneers in, and then we did a contest and a round robin and the whole 9 yards. We had to do it with the 3 of you.
Oh, Matt's gonna win, even if
Why?
he loses.
Well, he's not going to be the judge.
Even if he loses, no, Matt. Oh, I make better pizza. Look, my pizza's better. Right? Like it'll never. Listen, I'll make a pizza in front of you.
Listen, I can make a pizza. Listen to this, because I've had one of the most unique pizzas ever, and it was in a place in London, in Crouch End, it was called. And this guy used to work for him. It's a Pizza Bella, and it was this Egyptian guy who had an Italian pizza joint. Okay, that was run by Turkish people. So the whole thing. But anyways, they used to crack an egg in the middle of the pizza. Okay, on all the pizzas, they would crack an egg right in the center before they put it into the oven. And so then the first bite, you got a bit of the yolk, but then you got a little bit of the egg white that kind of went on the other portions of the pizza, and it made it phenomenal. Egg cracking pizza. It's really good.
What's your secret, Mike?
There's no secret. If you have good ingredients, if you have fresh dough that rises properly and it's proofed at the exact right time, you can't mess up a pizza. You can mess up the shape of a pizza. Like, what's the competition? Is it going to be perfectly round? Is that the competition? Because the best tasting pizza, it all depends on what the ingredients are.
Yeah. Well,
And
again, it
how it's
depends on
made.
who the judges are and
How it's and you just don't burn it, or some people like it burnt. Like, it's so subjective, pizza.
it is. No, it definitely is. I know
Yeah,
that.
and there has to be enough cheese. Not at pizza. Sometimes, like, what is the one who their whole business model is putting in less cheese? Little Caesars. They do not put in. That's the whole the hot now thing. They put pepperoni all over, so they don't have to put as much cheese because cheese is more expensive.
Well, that too, but also if you don't have the right cheese, it makes it greasy. Like, if you use cheap mozzarella cheese, your pizza will be greasy. If you combine provolone with mozzarella, a lot of pizzerias do that because they save money on provolone, and they mix provolone with mozzarella, and that makes a very greasy pizza. If you take a piece of pizza and hold it like this and it just drips with grease, chances are they have provolone cheese on top.
So if we were to do this, do we have to come up with, do whoever the judges, the other judges, because obviously I love pizza, so I'll be a judge. Would the judges have to come up with a list? Would the judges reach out to all the participants and ask, what would you like the criteria to be? How would it be the fairest way?
It'd have to be a plain cheese pie, no toppings, no pepperoni, no specialty pies. And we'd all have to use the same exact dough that was made the same day, or I mean, not the same day of the competition, but the dough has to be from the same batch.
Right.
So there's no excuses. Oh, that dough was better than this dough, and because the dough really matters when you're throwing pizza. You can, if you have dry dough, if the dough doesn't rise properly, if it doesn't proof long enough, it's flat. It doesn't cook well. There's so many different things that go into pizza. I mean, dough is a living thing. People don't understand
But
that.
then where does the competition come in? So
Well, that's
far
my
as-
point. I mean, is it going to be that? Obviously, it's not going to be the best tasting pizza because we're all using the same ingredients, the same sauce, the same cheese, and the same dough.
Well, we're all going to have the same pizza then. It's just
Right.
about cooking it.
So it would be who makes the prettiest pizza, which becomes a beauty contest.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that because I don't care what it looks like.
I think you
care what
do
it
the
tastes
same
like.
dough, and
Yeah,
then
but then
the
you're not.
ingredients. You pick your own ingredients. You just make the best.
Well, that's subjective. I understand what you're saying, Mike. It's subjective. If you were to make a meat pie and Knucklehead makes whatever he does, the low carb, high carb, no carb,
Right.
brain altering pizza, obviously I'm going to like yours before I even taste his.
Yeah,
I think you make the best vegetarian pizza. You stick with that. No meat. Whoever makes, and you can put whatever you want in it. Same dough, and then that's all they. It's a.
I got a better idea. Why don't everybody make the best meat pizza? Why does it have to be vegetarian?
because it's healthier.
That depends. I don't agree with that.
Well, what if you, okay, so unless you put a bunch of cheese, I mean, in general, it's going to be healthier to have vegetables instead of a bunch of meat.
Okay.
I mean, you know.
According to who? People can't even digest broccoli, for crying out loud.
Who the hell puts broccoli on pizza?
That's not my point. My point is we're just raised to believe that vegetables are good for you. Like, says who? Like, show me proof. I know people with IBS because they went vegetarian. Suddenly they have irritable bowel syndrome, like, and they have Crohn's disease because they went vegetarian. Like, it's not for everybody. It's just everybody reacts differently to everything. I don't think vegetables are more healthy than steak.
Hey, I did that 23andMe thing, and it says they can look at your blood and figure out.
I believe that. I do believe that. If somebody gave me a blood test and said, okay, this is better for you than steak, then I would believe it. But just because somebody told me eat your greens when you're a kid doesn't make me believe that it's better for me. That's all I'm saying.
Hey,
I'm
do you
devil's
like
advocate.
vegetables?
I love vegetables.
Okay.
I love vegetables. I love broccoli, but I also love sushi, but I don't know what sushi tastes like. I know what soy sauce and wasabi tastes like because I drown it in there. And if I eat broccoli, I drown it in salt. And if I eat peas, I drown it in butter. I'm not peas, green beans. I put butter all over it. Like, there's so many things that we do. Like Béarnaise sauce was made for filet mignon, for crying out loud, because it's the most tender cut, but it has no flavor. You want flavor, you got to have a New York strip.
Should I rile Mike up? Leslie,
Yeah.
should I rile him up?
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
Are you seeing are you in the chat room as well?
What?
Are you
No,
guys in the chat room?
No, I'm not in the chat room. Why?
Well, we've got people in here, and this should tell you enough. Clown Show Live has said Mike Straka doesn't make a bit of sense.
Clown show?
You tell Matt he shouldn't be driving and texting at the same time.
You think that's him? That ain't him.
No. Do you think I care about what Clown Show? This is why I don't read comments. If I read comments, I would have hung myself in like 2011. Are you kidding me? Tell Clown Show that I think of him as much as I think of Jake Paul, which is never. Look, they call that a callback in comedy.
Yeah, well, he knows you. Whoever this is knows you.
Oh, really?
Well, he said, is this the same guy who had his own TV show? So,
yeah. What did you have, Clown Show?
Exactly.
You have a computer and a chat box.
You know what I like about Clown Show? He's kind of ticked off Mike a little bit.
No, I'm not ticked off. I just find it amusing. You know who I'm more upset with for reading it to me?
yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that.
On that note, I'll see you next week.
All right. Well, that's why I knew you were leaving, so I wanted to leave you on a high note.
Yeah, I'm high. All right. Tell Clown Show I'll meet him anytime, and in the gym, he can see how tough he is.
Have you seen some of Mike's videos, Leslie, before he runs?
Yes.
Have you seen some of his videos?
Yeah, of course. You mean his reels and stuff?
No, not his TV stuff, his training stuff. And
Oh no, not the training. I've seen his. I know his work as a journalist.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
some of his videos, the kicking the cigarette out of the dude's mouth was pretty impressive.
Oh, that's good.
I've
Why you
also
tell him
I've,
you-
I've
you
also
try to
writ-
kill him.
I've also written 3 books, Clown Show. You can find them on Amazon. I had my own billboard in Times Square with my picture on it. You can go to Times Square and see it. I had 3 television shows, 2 of which I hosted, and I was a national entertainment reporter for Fox News Channel for 15 years. But I'm a clown. But I make no sense.
Who was your? I know you're trying to get out of here, but who was your favorite? Who was your favorite interview?
My favorite interview.
Is there one that sticks out? I know we've talked about Taylor Swift, but is there like your favorite that you've done? It doesn't even have to be.
No, I'm trying to think. My favorite interview. Wow, there's so many.
Hey, Clown Show just said any day, Bob Ebor.
Tell him he can get in line.
Tell him to get that contraption off the back of his Jeep, and Mike will meet him there.
What was I going to say to you? First of all, nobody in Ybor watches our show, so it's got to be Matt.
Ebor.
So does an interview, does a person, does an opportunity stick out?
God, I did have. I mean, Taylor Swift was a great one, but there's so many. I mean, fighters. Like I've interviewed a lot of fighters too, and I think Roger Huerta was a really good one because Roger Huerta, he talked about his childhood. He talked about what made, like when Roger Huerta fights, he wasn't fighting his opponents. He was fighting his past and his own demons.
Right.
And I think eventually that's what drove him out of the sport. He was a very, very sensitive and touched individual.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He's the first MMA fighter to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
That's correct.
I'll tell you who I didn't do as many long-term or long-range interviews as you. Excuse me. But I did do, Mike, a lot of red carpets. And of course, they're quick and so forth. And I'll tell you the one that I liked the least was Stephen Bochco.
Yeah. Of
Wall Street Blues, right?
Street Blues, yeah.
Yeah. That guy was a jerk.
Yeah, well, he's a producer. He's not a talent.
He was, you know what it was? It was for that annual police. Like every year, the Los Angeles PD sort of recognizes someone's for pomp and circumstance, and he was the guy they were giving the award to because he did so many. I think it was LA Law too, right? Wasn't it? I mean, many different shows that he produced. Hill Street, whole bunch of them. And
all right,
so
Mike's trying to get out of here.
No,
Mike's trying to. Well, you're not? Okay.
I'm good.
What was that?
No, nothing. Go ahead. Stephen Bochco.
So I go there and. Like it was like the Emmys or something was on, and I got that. Okay, and so I was like for the red carpets. Then he gets up there, and he was just so pompous. And first of all, to me, it's not newsworthy. And I wasn't a huge fan of doing entertainment news anyway. I like to do a little bit more hard news when I was in Los Angeles.
Hard-hitting journalism.
Yeah, but it is a form of journalism. It's just different when you're doing red carpets. So Andy Garcia, all these different players were there, people coming in who had played cops and, robbers and stuff on TV and in film. And I get up there and I was like, so I'm doing this for radio. And the ABC and KTLA, everyone, I'm like the only reporter around, not just them, photogs. And I'm like, so I'm trying to get a good 10-second radio bite. So we ask questions that obviously we know the answers to, and they know the answers to. But when I put it together as a package or whatever, a quick, 20 or 30-second radio bite to go all around the country on the national wire, we do these things. People don't understand this. So I'm like, so what brought you here is what I said. So what brought you to and he said a limousine. And then for the next,
that's the best. That's the best.
Whatever. Listen, the guy continued to be a snarky little, and I'm just like, and so finally I was like, look, I'm usually doing hard news. I'm trying to do this for radio. And even the photogs, they were so happy to have me there because, there's an actual reporter here. And we don't, and so they were even like, man, this guy was the biggest jerk to you ever. And it went on and on and on. Finally, I brought him back around and then he was giving me good stuff. And he was like, okay. But boy, it was just like one of those times where I wanted to just walk away but I was it,
Yeah, but I can one up you there. So I was live on Fox News at the Oscars red carpet. And so it's live TV. And this guy walked, how at the Oscars and the Emmys, people just walk up.
Yeah.
And most of the time there's a publicist that says, this is so-and-so.
Yes.
He's up for best director, whatever it is.
Yes.
Well, this guy walks up. I have no idea who he is. He's got his wife with him. They're all dressed to the T. And he just walks up to my camera and my microphone. And I'm live. Like George Clooney had just left. And then boom, this guy, I look up and here's this guy. And we were live and we was like, keep going, Mike.
Right.
So I said what you said. I said something similar. I said, what brings you out tonight? Hoping he would tell me who he is, right?
Right.
He goes, well, it's a lovely night. I figured it's a nice night to come out with my wife. And I said, okay. So now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard spot. I don't know who he is. I can't fake it anymore. So I go, all right, I'll be honest with you. I have no idea who you are. He goes, my name is Bobby Moresco. I wrote and produced Crash. And Crash won the Oscar that year. He won the Oscar for Best Picture. And I was like, well, thank you for telling me that. And then I had I watched the movie. I knew everything about it. So it was, but I had to ask him, who the hell are you?
I'm really glad that you mentioned about the publicist, because that entire night at that event that I was at, there was no one like that, but somebody was acting like that in the beginning. Right. So I thought that person was them. So they were screwing things up. It was like the worst evening ever.
But I did witness something that happened similar to what happened to you. It was the opening night of Sleepless in Seattle. And I was on the red carpet, the premiere.
Rob Reiner.
Yeah. Well, Nora Ephron.
Response, just so you know, just to jump in, Randy Couture would fight him for $10 million.
Yes.
Okay. Good to know.
Ask him if he'd do it for $1 million. Anyhow, Nora Ephron she wrote the screenplay. Mm-hmm. And there was an Entertainment Tonight reporter next to me. And this reporter, who she might have been an intern for all I know. She wasn't one of the main ones. And she said, Nora, what attracted you to the script? And Nora Ephron looked at her, started laughing. She goes, I wrote the damn thing. And as she walked away, she goes, what attracted me to the script? As she walked off the red carpet, cursing. She's like, I'm so over these dumb idiots. She's like, what attracted me to the script, and just walked off. And
oh God.
Yeah. And and then she didn't give any interviews after. She just walked right off.
Oh man. So that reporter, whatever, ruined it for everybody.
Everybody. That's correct.
Everybody.
Yep. We're all like, thanks a lot, sweetheart. But I felt for her because, she probably was thrown out there, had no idea, didn't even know that Nora Ephron wrote the damn script. But she said, what attracted, because that's an easy question. If you really don't know the research, you didn't do any research, you don't know, you just like what brought you out tonight? Well, I'm up for an Academy Award for a Crash. That's what I was expecting. But instead he goes, oh, it's a great night to be out with my wife. And I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, let me just be honest with the guy. I'm like, dude, I have no idea who you are.
See, that was good, because then you're honest. You just gotta say it. So then it's kind of funny and you can kind of joke around.
Right.
The Nora Ephron thing, I feel bad for that girl too, because people don't understand. Sometimes not only are you thrown out, but you could be over in the, she could have been at the desk or something back at CNN or whatever in LA. And then they're like, oh, John can't do we don't have anybody going to this event. Go.
Yeah.
And so you're just going, you're trying to do research. Back then you didn't have the internet.
There was no internet. Yep.
I have another comment from our chat room, which I'd like to read. What the hell is Leslie talking about? I own a business. If it was true that women made less than men, I would hire nothing but women and save 30%.
Oh, he's out of his freaking mind. He needs to wake up. It's a real thing. There's been studies all over the entire nation. So he has one business. This is one guy in how many billions? And he thinks that he knows everything that's going on because of his one business. I'm glad he's paying women the same if he is. That's great. But overall, it is a very, very big, real issue in our country. And I have been subject to it most of my life, having to different conversations. But let's go ahead and read what Clown Show says. Mike.
Now Clown Show is pretending not to be Matt and saying, Matt, you can cook a pizza to save your life.
He also says Sleepless in Seattle is like 6,000 years ago.
He also spelled your name wrong, Leslie.
We know that. We already said it was before the internet. We know when it was. Thanks a lot for pointing out, Captain Obvious.
Oh, but you know what?
On another note, I'm glad you're actually paying attention and listening to the show.
Clown Show says, how is the traffic on this? You'll get this, Mike. The 4, Leslie. Okay, Randy, I got to tell you, this is what he means. I came here from LA and I was a traffic reporter in Los Angeles. And when I came here in LA is one of the only places in the whole freaking country where they put a "the" in front of the interstate.
Yeah.
So it's like the 101 and I'm going to go down the Ventura Freeway, and every freeway also has one or two names that also represent the freeway. So the freeway has 3 names. It could be the 101, but if it's in this particular area, you could say the 101, but you could also say the Ventura Freeway, or the Hollywood Freeway, or all these different names. It's a whole unique way that they do traffic. So I come here and I'm like, all right, so the 4 is really backed up. The 275 is really, so I don't know who this is, but they definitely were watching me on Channel 8 because even the news director's like, why are you putting a "the" in front of it? And I'm like, because it's the 4, And they're like, and then Mike, I started using SIG Alert when there was major problems, and I started incorporating SIG Alert and explaining it and everything. And Channel 28 was getting all bent out of shape over me. And who's my good friend now, Meredith Sensula, was like, SIG Alert, that you can't use that. That's a branding thing.
Right.
And I'm like, no.
It's like AccuWeather Alert. Right.
Yeah, it's not SIG Alert. It just is a term
right.
that's famous for when they're going to close down a lane for 30 minutes or more. And it started back in the Gene Autry days. Anyways, I stopped using it because Tampa couldn't handle my LA traffic reporting. I started saying I-4 and 275. I dropped the, and I became more Tampa and less LA, and it worked. But it's hilarious.
Randy, I know Leslie said something about red carpet interviews, and they are quick. But my George Clooney interview was interesting because he hates Fox News, and he actually came up and did the interview with me, even though he knew it was Fox. And even in New York, the control room was like, Mike, how did you get George Clooney? And I got him because I knew his publicist, and Leslie, you can attest to this. When you deal with publicists, right? They always say to you, hey man, I got this up and coming guy. He's one of my clients. He's not really famous, but it would mean a lot to me if you put him on. And you say, all right, it doesn't hurt. Let me put him on. And then you see the same guy walking down with George Clooney. You're like, yo. And he's like, all right, I got to come over there with George because this kid hooked me up. But anyhow.
So who did he bring that was an up and comer?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. It was nobody notable.
Oh, okay. Well, I was expecting another Taylor Swift story because it was an up and coming then.
No.
And then all of a sudden it turns out to be.
No, I will tell you though, at the Tribeca Film Festival, I think it was the third one, Al Pacino and Jerry Orbach were in a film called Chinese Coffee. And it was a Broadway play first. And then he did a movie version of it. And the movie version was just the play on film. Anyhow, Al Pacino came, and he's another one who hates Fox News. But for some reason, I guess because I was an actor, I know how to speak with actors. I speak in actors' terms, and I throw in I told Billingsley, John Billingsley, you know the actor John Billingsley. Anyway, he's just some random character actor, and he was with his wife on a red carpet once, and I said I just made a joke. I go, I saw you in Candide, and he looked at his wife. He goes, yeah, I did that at the Paper Mill Playhouse. Were you there? And I just threw it. I said, no, I'm just kidding, man. And anyhow, Al Pacino comes and he's talking to me. And he literally talked to me for 25 minutes straight. It got to the point where his publicist came over and said, Al, they're holding up the movie for you. Like, you have to go inside. And he goes, well, I guess I got to go, Mike. Nice meeting. And he shook my hand. And then when what's her name died recently? She played Kay. She played Kay in The Godfather, the famous actress.
Diane
Keaton
like,
died.
yeah.
Diane Keaton. So I did an interview. I'm sorry, I just oh no. After she died, I read this article about Al Pacino and Diane Keaton were like they were lovers. They were like boyfriend and girlfriend for many years.
Yeah, they dated.
And
well, that's typically what boyfriend and girlfriends do.
And Diane Keaton said of Al Pacino, he loves to talk. He loves to talk. When I read that, I remember that interview I did with him. And he just loved to talk, and he wouldn't stop talking. I kept waiting for him to just walk away. You know how celebrities do soundbite and leave. He just kept talking and talking. And I looked at my camera guy. I'm like, is this really happening right now? Am I just having this conversation with Al Pacino? And I did. That was interesting.
Speaking of deaths, I hate to say this, but someone I used to love growing up passed away today. Do you guys know who it is?
Buck Rogers?
It's Buck Rogers died.
Yeah.
Gil Gerard, I think was his name.
Gil Gerard, yep.
Yeah, and that show made me want to be an astronaut with Tweaky and Aaron Gray.
Bitty, 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 bitty.
Yep.
Totally. Oh man, Buck Rogers is the best.
Wait, and now Clown Show is like that was 6,000 years ago.
Yeah.
3,000.
God.
Whatever.
Yeah, Clown Show's like you always bring up George Clooney. Clowny. He put Clowny.
Well, anyway, I do have to go now. I'm being summoned.
Well,
I will see you guys next week. Leslie, you look amazing. The Botox working.
Thanks, man.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You do look amazing, though.
With my black eye, too.
You two need to get a room.
I can't see your black eye, though.
That's because I put makeup on it.
Why?
I was really proud of it, though. Randy wanted me to come on the show, Mike, and talk about how I went and
Started
sparred,
training.
sparred with somebody to learn more about MMA and all this stuff. I'm like, no, man, I'm just going to say I got a shiner from my doctor.
I got an interesting story about that, too. I did the World Series of Fighting, the very first fight on NBC. And I was the in-cage reporter or interviewer after the fights. The night before, I had lasagna at whatever Vegas hotel. I think it was whatever it was. Doesn't matter. And I had an allergic reaction. And sometimes I get an allergic reaction to tomato sauce. And my whole eye blew up. So now the next morning, my eye is blown up. And I'm like, this is my luck. You know, national TV tonight. And I got this I took Benadryl. It didn't go away. But everybody thought that I got punched in the eye. And they're like, and it gave me more like street cred to all the fighters. It was so funny. I'm like, this kind of worked out for me.
Right.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that. There's a former employee of the UFC who did those in-ring, in-cage interviews. And he was led to believe that when they let him go, it's because he was too good looking. You know, he didn't have, you know, bloody eyes and whatever. You know, he was a good looking TV sportscaster. Tall, the whole 9 yards, and they let him go, and he always believed that till the day he died.
Is he dead?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, once you die, you're dead.
Not the case. That's like the fifth Beatle or whatever, thinking they were jealous of him, and the guy who was the drummer, and
Pete
that's why
Best.
they got rid of him. Yeah,
Pete Best.
yeah, dude, they didn't get rid of you because you were.
But you know, the Beatles were 6,000 years ago, Leslie.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Mike. Take care. We
Adios,
appreciate
Mike.
it.
Adios.
Stay warm.
Well, no, he's up north. He's certainly not going to stay warm because it's cold as crap up there. It's cold as crap in Atlanta.
Listen, I was so cold this morning, and it was in the 50s. I was so cold. I tell you what, it is great to be back in Tampa, especially after spending such time in Texas.
See, people don't realize that it's cold in Texas.
Yeah, well, Texas, first of all, is its own country. It's so huge. It's like, you know, you could literally put in probably, 11 states in Texas.
Delaware,
all of New England,
New Jersey,
all of New England.
Right.
Okay, and then you could throw in, probably Oklahoma could fit in there somehow, and Georgia, and Mississippi.
Oklahoma's got. Let's make it sports related. We've got 2 minutes to end hour number 2. Oklahoma, big football game on Friday. I believe they play Alabama.
Yeah, who do you think's going to take that one?
Every time I bet on Alabama, they lose.
I want Oklahoma to win because I'm so over Alabama. Gosh, I'm sorry.
Well, what do you mean they've been over since Nick left?
I just
They've been
the
nothing.
scope of college football, I am over Bama, and I'm over their fans. I'm just going to be honest.
All
I don't
fans.
hear
It's all fans.
Roll Tide, roll away, please. I'd rather go for Auburn. In fact, my niece went to Auburn, so War Eagle. Gail Guarda used to.
That is the most disrespectful thing you could have ever said.
She did. Well, my other niece went to UAB, I believe. But
Well, that's not Auburn.
I know, but she goes for Auburn because her sister, I think the family pretty much is taken.
My
Auburn.
brother went to get gas. He was going to school in Alabama, and he went to go get gas. He gave him the credit card, and it was the Alabama logo. They kicked him off the property, said they won't sell him gas. And we'll end hour number 2 on this. I was interviewing a former UFC fighter. He was known as the Bama Beast. I said, Bama Beast, so are you a Alabama or an Auburn fan? And his response was, you've never heard anybody say the great state of Auburn, have you? With that said, let's hit the top of the hour break. We'll be back after the commercial break and the short news. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Staff Son.